Hello everyone. It's James again. And today I want to talk about something very important. And that is a satire movement that has gone viral across the internet over the last few days. And it is satire. And if you don't know what satire is, before I explain what has gone viral so fast. Satire is when you take something that is in real life that is so extremely funny when you reenact it back in a setting where you pretend to be serious. But you are really showing how insane the original thing you are referring to really is. It can also be irony as well. So in case you aren't aware, for the longest time on the internet and on this platform, there are tons of female content creators. Tons of them. That make lots of content. And actually this has been going on for the last decade. Of some of these ladies making content on how to trick a man. How to take a man's money. How to use a man for everything he has. And how to manipulate a man. And this has escalated into it's okay and accepted to have a starter husband. Meaning a woman marrying a man she has no intentions on staying married to. Just so she can fill her time. Get whatever financial resources she can get out of the marriage and then get divorced when she sees fit and she wants to do something else with her life. And that it's perfectly okay to do this to a good man that loves her and treats her well and that she suckered into such a relationship. And keep in mind, these videos are in no way satire. These are real videos with real women that are teaching. Literally teaching other women how to narcissistically abuse not only men that you might not know, but your sons, your brothers and other men that are in your life. Because you see, I look at it like this. When the gang member goes out with his weapon that goes bang bang, and he uses it to get one of his enemies, oftentimes he doesn't get his enemy. Or he doesn't hit his intended target. And if they do hit their intended target, they still oftentimes hit an innocent stranger. Or a kid riding their bike. And the women that are teaching this mess too, oftentimes end up tricking the men that truly love them. And men that are trying to put their best foot forward. Now do they end up with lesser smart narcissists? Yup. They do that too. And we talked about that a week ago. But it seems the women that are teaching this stuff, they oftentimes get a guy that really cares about them. And the guy has no idea their entire 3, 4 or 5 years together was an entire game and they were just a starter husband that meant nothing. And these videos get more and more ridiculous with women that are dead on serious about what their expectations are for a first date, let alone a relationship. And this is often shown from not only these over-the-top podcasts, but from random women that are plain and average, being interviewed about what they want and are looking for in a man. And the numbers bear out what we are seeing in this content as well. And the stats show that most women are in a relationship. And most men are not. And there are more women than men. But what they are finding that a great many of these women are chasing down the same men. Men that care nothing about them. And that is until they end up with a guy they find they can manipulate out of their money. And they will say in these videos that they will never go to this place or eat or that place to eat for a date. That they need all of their bills paid in order to act somewhat nice to a guy. And they need all of these things that make no sense at all, that have nothing to do with protecting and providing. Nor do they have to do with boundaries and respect. But they have everything to do with greed. So here's the thing. Dating has made a huge turn. And what I mean is this. The super rich that may want to sample this type of a woman on Tuesday and then that type of a woman on Friday. They now have the ability to do so. You see the ladies of the night that you see on these podcasts that talk about they are OnlyFans models. And all of this stuff. When Instagram first gained popularity. And women started to post pictures of themselves in bikinis and all kinds of other stuff. These wealthy men from all over the world might offer them some cashola and some gifts and fly them to their country to do certain things with them. And when OnlyFans came out, these same men would do the same with these ladies too. Well, what does that mean for the average or plain woman? The ones without the plastic surgery and all of that. Well, these same men reach out to these women as well. Sugar sites have become extremely popular. And the reason why is a lot of these female content creators that pump out narcissism. They make women feel like they are missing out if they don't have a $5,000 purse. And if they aren't traveling to the finest exotic locations. Not just once a year. But at least once a month. And to keep up. A great many women are signing up to these sugar sites. So they can hope to get a weekly or monthly allowance. All for letting certain men do certain things with them. And some of the most normalist looking and acting women have confessed to taking part in such things. So much so. This now becomes all they can think about and do. Get the bag. Get the money. Who cares who you hurt? Even if you are really hurting yourself. And what has been happening is these very women push out evil content. Training women to be clones of themselves. That if a man works a normal job and has a normal average income, even if he's good looking, kind, loving yet very masculine, he's considered a so-called dusty. Their words, not mine. That he can't even afford to cash app you an allowance. What is he good for anyways? And again, the ladies that are saying this kind of stuff, it's not satire. Because likely they have already been flown out to God knows where to do God knows what. And been given a $5,000 purse. Or a few $100s or maybe a few $1,000s. Who knows? So now this is what they expect. You see. I've talked about late-stage narcissism before. And this can happen to both men and women. Now just so I'm clear to people that are new here. I talk about both male narcissists and female narcissists. But in this case, what is extremely common in the creation of a late-stage narcissist? You might have a woman that ends up with a woman friend at her work or school. And this new so-called friend will see this other woman has a great relationship going with a man that really loves her and she really loves her man. And she will plot and plot and plot into turning her so-called friend into a 304 or a very loose woman. Breaking up her home. And totally changing her into a narcissist. And she does this by establishing trust. She might help out her friend with something important such as a school assignment or work assignment. And then somewhere along the line, once she got her hooks into her, she will invite her someplace she has no business going. And that is to, like, let's say a party on a big boat in the middle of the ocean. With a bunch of rich pro athletes and business people. And at first the friend says, I can't go because I have a boyfriend. So forth and so on. But we know how this goes. The other friend will put the pressure on. And shame and make this woman feel bad for not going. And will convince her to lie to her boyfriend. And will tell him they are having an innocent sleepover at her friend's house and will be watching chick flicks. When in reality she's now on a boat with rich horny men trying to shoot their shot at her. Maybe she ends up doing things she never thought she would ever do. She becomes sick with herself. And breaks up with her boyfriend. And because she was able to break up with her love of her life. And has gotten through the tears. She becomes hard as stone and becomes all about the money and using people and letting people use her. What does all of this have to do with what is going viral? Well, there is a series of videos called the Soft Guy Era or Drizzle Drizzle, where men of all ages and backgrounds making insane videos talking about how they need all of these unrealistic things from women before a woman can date them. But the truth is, it's one big troll. And it's satire. Because the exact things that these men are asking for in these videos are the same exact insane things that women in their videos and in real life most of the time say they expect, and for them it's not satire at all. And the reason why these men are making these videos is to show how insane it sounds when they say what they say. And how it should sound just as insane when a woman says it too. And weirdly enough, there are tons of women that are triggered so bad they think these men are for real and are making content against it. but not realizing the reason why it was made in the first place. You see, narcissists. Even your narcissist parents know that if you had help, you would have been able to escape the hell of a home you grew up in. And that's one of the reasons why they turned your brothers and sisters against you. Yes. They do it for narcissistic supply. They love to have scapegoats to punish and golden children to feed their egos. But they also do what they do because they know what they are doing in general is wrong. And they have to be 10 steps ahead of you so you can't escape them so easily. Because if your brother and sister were able to form a bond, you would have found out what was happening in your home was wrong and you would have come up with a plan together. You would have put your money together and you would have left never to return. Well, the narcissists that run society know the same exact fact exists for men and women. And everything almost has been done to drive a wedge between men and women. To where no one is having children and no one seems to be getting married. They aren't looking at the laws and trying to fix them. Because likely they like the laws the way they are. And the more division they can create the better in their minds. So what do? They normalize the Instagram model that flies out to spend time with a basketball player for a little bit of money and a purse. And they not only normalize it, they try to make it seem cool and a part of going through life. So much so it makes it so men and women that have good intentions towards one another can't meet. You see, life is hard. And they, whoever they are, knows life is hard. Why? Because they are the ones likely that is making life hard for everyone. And they can easily say, you need to pair up and share and help one another. Look. Most men. It tears them up. They can't make enough money to support an entire household by themselves. But that ship has sailed decades ago. Meaning, no matter how hard a man works, his chances of being able to be up to those standards is as close to zero as you can get. This is why the godfather of the high-value man movement, though he said some things I don't agree with, he would get quite mad and angry when a woman that was average would laugh and chuckle at the idea of dating or being with a man that made an average living. Because these ladies of the night that are flying off to God knows where doing God knows what, these average ladies were thinking that should be their life too. And you can hear when these men would debate them. The lights are on and no one is home. It's like they are Terminator robots and all they know is the delusion that they have been programmed to believe. Because again, the narcissistic system doesn't want men and women to come together. Because when that happens, it's over for the system of control. So they have to keep this entire mess up. Because you notice, these videos pushing female narcissism have millions and millions of views. Do you think that is by accident? But videos talking about the truth and reality are stuffed to the bottom of the pile. Drizzle Drizzle is basically a mirror held up to female narcissism. Male and female narcissists do a lot of things the same and some things different. And the things they do differently depend on what society will let them get away with. And when society will let them get away with such a thing, the first thing you should be asking is why? Why? So if you happen by one of these Drizzle Drizzle videos, and you hear some of these men saying some outrageous stuff, it's basically things they heard in person, from real women for years. It would be like us in the narcissistic abuse community. No matter you be male or female went around and talked and acted all day like our narcissist exes. We would sound pretty darn insane, right? Well, that's what this is. Drizzle Drizzle. And I think this is a good way to start the conversation of how to have normal relationships and what that looks like. Boundaries are okay. But mistreating people and using them as a human cash machine is not. Well, that's all I have for today. Please subscribe if you haven't. And please share if you can. With that said, I do hope your day is blessed. And until next time. Bye for now. And be good to yourself.